Yeah, well, better late than never. I think we need to kick in on this. We gotta get going. Got 2 months. Okay, so here it is. It's the 6th of January. We have until the 16th of March to get the USACC bill done, and I haven't even touched it.
Wait, what?
This is from the last video way back then when we went over what I was going to do. This was the final time I saw this. I haven't even opened up this kit since then. I actually lost the kit. I had a little scary moment. I put it somewhere else that I didn't, whatever, but we got it. We're all ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and, there we go. We're doing the Rampage. It's going to be a old, probably, I don't know, super stock of some sort, stock eliminator car. I haven't decided yet, but, we've got everything we need. And here's kind of a thrown together kit. The engine's already together. That's nice, but this is going to be a pretty easy thing to go with, but I think what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to locate my wheels and tires and figure things out and figure out what we're going to do under here for tire clearance. I don't want to back half it. I don't want to put big slicks on it, but I want to put some big meats in this. It'll get jacked up. Probably going to do a very basic underside, everything just, painted black, but, I'll do a little bit of hand painting to make things look nice. So we're probably going to start getting the chassis all together and get that all worked out and get that done and over with. So we got all the parts. I don't know. I've dropped it anyways. Here we go. I've got the stock 12-bolt rear end. It's not real exciting. I might find a little better rear end to use, but sake of time, I think I'm just going to stick with box parts. There's one leaf spring. We've got the other leaf spring, and gee whiz, do I have I don't know if we got to have the front ends parts, so let's get those front end parts all departed. Do it, and whoop, blink, blink. We're going to get all that stuff. I don't need, that is the front sway bar. You don't run a front sway bar on a drag car. It gets in the way. It keeps the wheels from not doing what they need to do. This front suspension needs to really let that car allow it to lift, if you know your drag race tech. So you don't put that on a drag car. Let's see, what else do we got around here? We're going to not mess with that stuff. There's got to be other suspension pieces. Where's my upper control arms? That's what we got to find next, and whatever else. I might have to dig through some junk kits and get my upper control arms. So that's something we're going to have to go hunt for. I'm sure I will find some laying around somewhere. We do have a junk kit in my salvage yard. Just a bag kit I bought for the parts that I can dig through. I'm not going to have a hard time getting parts. This is pretty much where we're at right now. I'm going to try to mock up the rear suspension to see where things are, see what kind of tire I can stick under there. And I know we're going to have to jack this thing up. Another thing I'm going to be doing, something that I do with a drag car, is all the trim around. That's always the tough part on these 69 Camaros. I wish they didn't put that trim on there. No trim. I don't want any. I don't like chrome trim. I don't like this chrome bar down the bottom. I like a drag car to be like an open canvas for the stickers, the paint job. I hate chrome. I really do. And I cannot stand chrome molding around wheel wells. That's going to go. And this wheel well probably might get opened up a little bit. So we're going to be getting rid of that stuff too. That's probably something here real soon we'll be working on. But yeah, this bar has to go. Gets in the way of putting a bunch of contingency stickers down there. Let's start dealing with cleaning up and getting some of the suspension components all put together and ready to rock. That's what we're going to be working on.
You're watching the Luka C channel on YouTube.
Okay, so we've been messing around with it, got some cool things to show you. So I've kind of mocked up the rear end because I want to figure out clearance. But let me show you a couple things here real quick, what I've done. So you can see here, if you look in there, I did some grinding out, getting out of a little more room. We want to get back there to be able to fit the slicks in there. And as you can see, that's what I ground out. That's where the shocks usually go. The shocks are usually kind of outboarded on these in the wheel well. We're going to be inboarding the shocks. I'll build up something in there. We'll show you that a little later. But I guess I got to do some fabricating and stuff and make new shock mounts for towards the inside. I got this all mocked up with white glue or canopy glue, and I kind of got it taped so it's hinging. So other thing I want to show you for the tire clearance, I went ahead, can you see, I ground the rear wheel well out, which remember I said I don't want to have chrome around here. Took care of my chrome deal, but what I did was I just ground right where the chrome's at. But then as I started figuring out tire placement and where the rear end will end up, and of course we're going to have to pull this rear end spring, we're raising the back end up to fit this big massive tire in there. I had to do a little bit of more grinding here. I want to do a little reshaping here, make it look a little more like stock shaped. I think it's not quite a good angle right about here. I'm not liking it. I'm going to work it a little better, but I want to get the tire to sit, and we got clearance on both sides, but we got a little problem with the rear end. It's sticking way out. I don't want that. So I think what I got to do is I'm going to do a little bit of narrowing of the rear end right at the spring perch, get this tire more closer to that spring. It's going to have to be that way. So I'm going to bring this wheel in, everything. So I'm going to rework this whole wheel back and where it connects to the rear end and bring it closer. The one thing we got to do is now I'm going to have to get some shackles going, raise this up. But I'm going to put a little heat to this leaf spring right there, and I'm going to curl that up. Just get a little bit of more of a bow into that section of it right there so that I don't have to have a big, gigantic, long shackle hanging down there. I don't want to do it that way. But when I think we get these tires in there, I think these are going to be the tires that work right, but we just can't have them sticking out that far. Because like I said, without the rear end in here, let's pull this rear end out. And that grinding, I want to get that tire right about like that. Right about there. Can you see how that would roll? So I want to try to squeeze that tire in there. So I'm going to be doing a little more hacking and figuring and notching and smacking around. Who knows yet? I don't know. We'll figure some things out there. Wheels. I got my wheels I want. I want to go with center lines. But I don't know how many of you have ever seen these that are in the 55 Chevy kit from AMT. There are these cool 2 different size deep dish centerline wheels. I think those are beautiful. I don't think I'm going to go with that deep of one. I'm going to use this one for the rear. So there you go. Now these actually are resin cast. I made molds of those and resin cast because one thing from the 55, that's the front and this is the rear. Lots of times I like to use this for a rear, like on a stock eliminator or super stock type car like this. I think that will be the depth we want to go. We won't want to go to, this is more Pro Street depth right there. But we needed a narrow one for the front. So when I was making molds, I cast another one of these, but without casting the rim part. And then I added, I think from like the Pro Stock kits or something, they have those for the inner front runner. There's just a ring that's on the chrome tree. I always like using those for making a new wheel. So I made myself a little front runner here from those. So I have a matching skinny. There we go. And I got a set of tires, I think I'll use these just out of the box, out of the parts box. There we go. So we have got the wheels we're going to go with. Wheels, and tires are all set. What do you think? In another video, what we're going to do is I did a video, this one right here, quite a few years ago, on this extreme metal chrome from AK Interactive, and I really like this stuff. It's really nice. It's a nice metal. I want to get more of their extreme metal. I've heard some good stuff about them, and I think this will give me the look. I don't want these to be chrome. I want these to look like that polished aluminum that was so popular, because this car is something that would have been racing in the late 70s, early 80s, or in the 80s, more in the 80s. But yeah, as you can see, look at the comparison. You see all that stuff I ground out right there for tire clearance. I wish this framework didn't go so far out like that. I'd love to inboard that, but we will see. Who knows? I don't want to get too much into chopping and cramming, and it's a model car. We might have some tire rub jammed up in there, but you know, if it looks great sitting there, it's not a real car. I cheat like that. Oh well. But I do want to have my tire clearance the best I can. There. That's what we're going to go for. Just ever so slightly out like that. That's going to be my look. So there's where I am at right now with the USACC build. We're going to keep cutting and grinding, and smashing and throwing and cussing and spitting, and we'll carry on. Looking forward to using that stuff. I don't know, I might shoot these black and then shoot that on there, but I don't know, we'll do some experimenting. This stuff works weird on resin. Well, it's the second video for the USACC build, but this is the first update video. There we go, that's what we'll call it. I want to get this USACC build all done probably within the next few weeks. I want to get it done, get this rampage happening. Looking forward to it. We got some cool stuff to go. That's why I don't want to spend a lot of time on this and make it too complicated. One thing I do, oh boy, I need to find, this thing's going to need some traction action going on. I need to find the perfect traction bars. I think, you know, with the time period, yeah, I'll probably go with just some slapper bars or something, because I'm going to have to do some grinding away here. And then we put some slapper bars on there. I think that's going to give this that 80s drag car look. So we'll be looking for some of those to do. Yeah, that's pretty much where I at. Going to have a small block. Got some cool stuff to do with that small block. I want to do not an over-the-top detailed engine, but I want to have some cool engine detailers. A part that I got a hold of a while back that I'm dying to use that I want on this engine, and it's for a small block, and it's something that I've wanted for a small block Chevy since I started building model cars, and it never was anything nice until this one came out. But you're going to have to watch the next episode. Probably not the next episode, but whenever we get to the engine. When we get to this spot, trying to fill that hole right there. Got some resin wheels. I got the tires. We're set with that. We're ready to go. So I got to get the old... You got to start carving out some wheel well room, and we'll see you in the next one, okay? And I just got to ask that question. You know the question. I ask it all the time, right? Why do we sit at the bench and shove tires to see if they clear up into our car bodies and grind away and build these model cars like this? It's simple, because it's fun, right? Here's the producers.